Hi folks, this is Poogle from Rocket Realty. Thank you so much for people who have joined on Facebook Live. I'm a professional real estate agent in Dallas, Texas. I have received a number of phone calls in the last 2 weeks from buyers asking me, is now at the right time to buy a home? Okay. Some questions are, should I even cancel my plan for this year? Some of them are saying, can I push it for a couple of more months? And some are asking, I already have a contract on a property. Should I cancel the contract because of the COVID-19 situation and the uncertainty? There are a lot of challenges people are facing. Okay, we don't know what the future is going to be, but one thing we know for sure, this is a dark cloud that is going to pass, and we are going to become successful, and we are going to see the sunny day pretty soon. So this seminar or the webinar is purely focused on buyers who have questions like, is this the right time to buy the home? Okay. Now I have what I need to do first is, for those attending on Facebook, I will send a link to what is called information about brokerage services. So as a real estate agent, by Texas real estate law, I need to disclose that information to you. So I will share that information very shortly on information about brokerage services. Now, I have been doing business for over 5 years. I'm a broker owner of Rocket Realty. I have one of the top ratings on Google reviews and Zillow, and I breathe and live real estate 24/7. Okay, so with that in context, the biggest question people ask me is, Poogle, is this the right time to buy a home? There are three things that I would like to point out. Okay, point number one is that you need to have a roof, no matter whether you're renting a property or you're going to buy a property. Now, so roof is for your family, that is a home or an apartment that you need in order to live, right? So you will allocate some money, maybe it is $2,000 or $1,500 for providing a shelter for your family. That is point number one. The question is that shelter going to be a rental property where you're renting, or is it going to be a property that you want to own, right? So there are two questions that you're answering. One, am I going to rent this property for the family, or am I going to own a property, right? The budget, for that it could be $1,000 or $2,000, but that point does not change. You need a shelter for you and your family, right? Point number one. Point number two is the financial strength. So if you do decide to buy a home, in the current situation, you need to worry about the savings that you have for next 6 months. Okay, in the United States, a lot of financial planners recommend that you have 6 months worth of expenses saved in an account. Okay, let's say your family expenses, including rent, groceries, car payments, electricity, all these childcare expenses is $5,000, right? So 6 months, 5 times 6, you need to have $30,000 saved in a bank account. The reason is, if there is a lot of uncertainty in the market, maybe it is a job situation, you need to still have the money to support your family. So that is point number two. You need to ensure that you have 6 months worth of your family expenses saved in a savings account. It should be in a liquid asset. It cannot be in stocks, or it cannot be in a rental property, but it should be something you can easily have access to. They call it as liquid assets. So you need to have 30,000 in this particular example in savings. So folks, time to time you will see me going left because I have 3 screens in the studio. One on the left hand side, I have a monitor. I'm looking at the center monitor, which I am broadcasting, and I have another monitor which is on the right hand side. So point number two is, you need to make sure you have rainy day funds or funds to protect your family for next 6 months. That is $30,000 in this example, assuming it is $5,000 of expense per month. Point number 3, okay? If you plan to purchase a home, okay, the minimum down payment you need is 3.5%, okay? The minimum amount that you need in cash in order to buy a home is 3.5%, okay? Now, there is closing cost involved. Whenever you buy a home, there is a lot of expenses you need to incur in order to purchase a home. That is approximately 2%, okay? So if you add the 3.5% that you need minimum to buy and 2% all other expenses, that is the cost to acquire an asset, so totally we are talking about 5.5%. So when you're buying a home that is $400,000, you need to have $22,000 in a savings account at this point in time. Okay, so $22,000 at this point in time. Okay, so that is point number 3, right? So point number 1 is you need a roof, no matter what condition of the economy is. Point number 2 is you need money to save for your family for 6 months to support the expenses. And the third is if you need to buy a home, for example, this $400,000, you need to have $22,000. So let's consider 22 that you need to make a down payment and the 30 that you need to protect your family. We are talking totally about $52,000 in order to buy a home. So that's what I consider as the financial safety for your family in order to venture to buy a home. Okay, $30,000 in savings to protect for uncertainty, family expenses, and about 22, including closing costs, to buy a home. So that when you combine 30 plus 22, $52,000 is what you need to have to consider to buy a home. Now, during various calls that I have received in past several weeks, people are asking me, Poogle, well, I do have the money, but I'm not very sure on my job situation, right? See, job situation is critical. So if you were to draw an x-axis, okay, which is financial stability, and a y-axis, which is job security, you can consider in the y-axis, job secure less, and then job security is high. That means you're very comfortable with the job that you have with the company that you're working for. When the job security is less, that means you're not very sure. Now on the x-axis, you're going to have right in the middle the financial strength, which is in this particular case $52,000. Now on the left side of the x-axis, which means you don't have $52,000, or the second scenario is you have more than $52,000, which is on the right side, right on the x-axis. So you will have 4 quadrants, right? So you will have, I don't have money and my job security is not very good, which means the recommendation that I want to provide you is that you stay with the rented property. Okay, that is the best course of action in today's scenario. Okay, so in this scenario, you don't have the money to procure the property, which in this case is $52,000, and your job security is also very less. In that case, you stay put in a rental property. There is no point venturing into buying. Now consider another scenario where you have a higher job security, but you don't have the money that is required to protect your family and make the down payment. In that case, my recommendation is you save the money so that you can buy the home when you are strong financially. Okay, that is scenario number 2. Scenario number 3 is I do have the money for the down payment as well as 6 months of rainy day funds now, but my job security is not that great. I'm not very sure I will be in the job or I will be relocated. So if that is the scenario, even though you have the financial strength, you need to decide with your family, is it safe to venture into buying a home? Would you be ready with that decision? Hey, I want to buy a home, and then within 2 months you lose your job, then you may be in trouble. So you need to really sit down with your family and decide I have the financial strength, but my job is not secure. That is a question that you need to sit and work with your family to design, right? If you have good financial strength, maybe 10-month worth of savings to protect your family, then you can go ahead with the purchase, but you're taking a calculated risk. The fourth scenario to consider is that you're financially strong, but at the same time your job security is pretty solid. Then you should not wait, because any timing is perfect. Because you have the financial strength and the job security, then you should consider buying, because the interest rates are incredibly low at this point in time. Okay, so folks, that is the key criteria that you should use. There are 3 things to consider, right? Point number 1 is that you need a roof in order to stay put with your family, right? No matter what. Is it a rental property, or is it going to be a home that you're going to own? So you're going to allocate and spend that amount of money, right? Whether you are paying in mortgage or you're paying a rent. So that fact is not going to change. The second fact you need to make sure is you have adequate savings, at least 6 months worth of savings, so that you can still run the family should you lose your job. So in this example that I use, 5,000 is your expenses, 6 months, 5 times 6, 30,000 you should have in your account. The third thing is you need to have money for the down payment, which is 3.5% is the minimum to borrow loan, that is called FHA loan, and 2%, which is closing costs. You need to have at least 5.5% of whatever your purchase price is in your bank account. In this example, I used $400,000 property. That means you need to have roughly $22,000 in your bank account. So 5,000 is the expenses per month. So 5 times 6 is 30, and then 22. So totally you should have $52,000. Then the dimension that I cannot give guidance, you have to decide, is your job security. If your job is super secure and you have the money, then go ahead. You don't have to wait no matter what the situation is. You're very comfortable. But if your job is not secure, you still have money, then you can still proceed with caution. If the scenario is I don't have money, but I have less secure job or a super secure job, then you need to delay your decision to buy. Okay. So folks, that is all I wanted to share in this Facebook Live event. At this time, I wanted to pause and I wanted to see if you have any question for those who have joined me on Facebook Live. Okay, I'm going to pause and wait to see if there is any comments or question that you wanted to send it to me. Okay. So folks, those who have joined, I plan to conduct a Facebook Live event every Friday between 11 and 11:30. Okay. Next week, I will provide a monthly market update on housing for March 2020. I should have all the numbers for North Texas by the time. So we'll get a sense of what the buyers are doing, what the market is doing, what the sellers are doing, and I will try to provide an update. Okay. So, all right, folks, it looks like there is not many questions. For those who joined the Facebook Live event, I really appreciate your time. If you like these kind of Facebook Live real estate related news, subscribe and like my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Rocket Realty TX. Again, that is facebook.com/Rocket Realty TX. So I share a lot of useful information related to the local real estate market, both the residential and commercial. You can also watch and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is tinyurl.com/Watch Poogle. Again, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is tinyurl.com/Watch Poogle. Thanks for watching, and you have a great weekend.